everyone, welcome back. I am Kelly and I do cute claws, and today I am going to be doing some dips with tips on my niece. My niece is 12 years old, same as my daughter, and she was spending a couple days with us in quarantine. We haven't seen family in quite a while, but we were lucky to have her come and spend some time with us, and she asked if I would do her nails. So of course I would do her nails. So here I'm just, going in with the tips that I have, and I'm making sure that I get the right size. So as I go through and kind of put the different ones on here, you could see that some of them are too big because they hang over the side walls of her nails. And so I'm going in to try to find one that lines up with it. And I got lucky. In my kit of tips, I had one that was the right size for each one of her nails. But in the event that you are kind of finding that your finger is between sizes, you can always go in with a nail file, or even clippers if you really have to take off that much, but kind of file down the sides of the tip evenly, both sides, to match up with your nail, the size of your nail plate. So that's what I'm doing here. And once I've got the right size, I'm just kind of laying those out on the table, and then I'm going to go in and actually use my dip liquids to adhere the tips to her nails. So I am going, I went out of frame a little bit here, but when I do this part, but I'm going to basically put a little bit of my triple vitamin base on the tip of the nail tip, and there's like a little well where you're supposed to kind of meet the nail with your natural nail, the tip with your natural nail. So I put just a little bit of that base in that well, and then I put a little bit of the activator onto her nail where I'm going to glue the tip to. And the activator and the base, bond with each other, and it works perfectly for putting the tips on. So you could use different things. You could use nail glue if you want, but since I'm going to be doing dip over these tips anyways, it's just, it made sense for me to use my dip liquids. So that's what I'm going to do here. And I'm going to let you just watch for a little bit, and I'll pop back in a little bit later. So now I'm going to go in with my Efile, and I've got my sanding band. I think it's a 240 grit sanding band. And what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of filing down the area where the tip meets her natural nail, because you don't want to have any like bump, where you can feel kind of that transition. It needs to be, nice and smooth. Otherwise, when you start laying the dip on top, you're going to have, the bump is just, it's going to continue to be there, and kind of get thicker and thicker when you have, hi kitty, when you have some, the dip application on top of it. So you just kind of want to file it down. You don't want to be touching the natural nail with this sanding band. I had already prepped her nails and kind of removed the shine from her nail. And so at this point, again, I'm just kind of keeping the Efile on the tip itself. And then I run my finger over it just to make sure that it feels nice and smooth. So that's what I'm doing here. And I will be back in just a little bit. So now I'm going to come in with my clippers, the tip clippers, and take some of the length down. Since her nails were quite short, I didn't want to go too long for her. In my opinion, you need to kind of start with a shorter nail so that you can get used to doing things with them. And then, as your nails grow out, of course, you're kind of getting used to them as you go. So I know she wanted a longer length, but I just didn't want to kind of render her hands useless since she's not used to the length. So we did go a little bit shorter here. And I just kind of clipped down until it looked right, and I flip her hand over so I can see, the length of the tip from the end of her finger to just kind of check and make sure they all look even. And then she wanted a coffin shape, and so I just decided to go in with my cuticle nippers because they have like the flat edge. There you can get nail clippers that are flat, but the ones that I have have the curve to them, so I didn't want to use those. So instead I just went in with the cuticle nippers and kind of took a little bit of the tip off of each side to kind of give it that coffin shape. And then I go in with my hand file to kind of just make sure that the shape is correct on the side walls. And then I file briefly on the tip, on the free edge, and get the shape the way that I want it before we go in with the dip. So another thing that I do with the nail file is I just kind of run it over the top of the nail tip as well. Even though I went in with the Efile, I just do it quickly with the hand file too, just to make sure that again it's all even from where her natural nail meets the tip. There's no bump or anything like that. It just feels completely smooth and even to start the dip process. So I'm gonna let you finish watching this part, and then I'll jump back in when we get into the dip application. right, so now we're going to get into the dip application. Today I'm just going to use Revel Clear, which I believe is called Vivian, and then I'm using my triple vitamin base and my Rossi Activator. I have a cuticle stick here just to kind of get around the cuticle edge, so that I'm making sure to keep the product off of her skin and create that little like valley that I can later get my Efile, the edge of my Efile drill bit into to kind of just clean up that area and make it look really nice. I am not doing a colored dip on her, and that is because she decided that she wanted to go with some gel polish on top, so we're just doing clear. And what I did right there is I was putting the primer, the Rossi primer on, and this is just going to dehydrate the nail plate, get all of any, remaining oils off, which is important so that your product adheres correctly and you don't have any lifting. And the first application of dip here is, you saw I just kind of brushed my base in a line over where the tip meets her natural nail, and that's going to be the first dip that I do. And this is just going to ensure that it's going to be strong where the tip meets her natural nail. So I'm going to do that as the first dip, and then the second dip is going to be a 3/4 dip. The third and fourth dips are going to go all the way up to her cuticle. So I'm going to, and then I go in each time that I get close to the cuticle, I go in with my orange orangewood cuticle stick, and go around just to make sure it's nice and clean. And then from there, we're going to go into, adding the activator. So I'll come back at that point. All right, so now we're all done with the powder application of the dip, and now I'm going to go in with the Rossi Activator. And I love this part because you can literally see it soaking into the powder, and it brings just some kind of comfort feeling to me. I don't know, it's cool to watch the activator go on. So I do put that on all of her nails twice just to make sure that I'm penetrating all layers of the powder and the base, so that it can be activated, and it'll once it dries, it'll turn matte, and then that's when you know that it's cured, and the acrylic it's hard. The powder is hard like acrylic. When you tap on it, you can kind of hear the clicking noise. That means you're good to go. I did do all of the filing off camera, and so now I'm just kind of going in with a alcohol wipe just to remove all of the excess dust from filing off of her nails before I go in with the gel polish. So I'm using Gellen. I just got a new kit from Gellen. It was some kind of a rainbow kit, and it had a lot of like really cute, summery, like pastel-y colors. And so that's what she decided she wanted, was like a rainbow. And so we've got several of the colors that I'm going to show you here. And so then the gel base coat that I'm using is Model 1s, and the glossy top coat is Model 1s, but then the colors are Gellen. And one thing I just want to also point out is that if you weren't going to be doing any gel polish, then there are some different steps you need to take after you're done filing. You do need to go and buff your nails so that they are nice and smooth. I did not do that. And then you would go ahead and put a second coat of activator on before you go in with your dip system top coat. So again, I didn't do the buffing or the second, stop that cat. Sorry, my kitty came in to say hello, my orange tabby, and she's being a troublemaker. But anyway, you need to give the gel polish something to hold on to, and so it needs kind of that rough surface, so that's why I didn't go in and do the buffing or the second layer of activator. So just know that there are some differences there. So you see me go in with the base, and then I'm going to cure that for 60 seconds, and then I'm going to go in with 2 coats of the colors on each of the nails just to make sure that they reach full opacity. And the coloring is nice. I actually did 3 layers. You'll see when I get to her middle finger, I'm doing her middle finger in like a pastel yellow color, and that one just required 3 coats just because I felt like it was still kind of see-through on her nail. So and then after I'm done with all of the colors, I go in with my Model 1's glossy top coat and do a layer of that and cure. I cure everything for 60 seconds in my LED UV lamp that I have, and I will link all of the information for all of the things that I use in this video to complete this look so that you guys know where to find the things. Most everything I get nowadays is from Amazon. But yeah, I'll just let you continue to watch until we get all of these nails polished up, and then I'll be back for the final look. so now I've got all of the polish on, the top coats on. I'm just checking to make sure everything feels dry, nothing feels sticky, even on the tip where I had to kind of cap the tip. Sometimes I'll have her turn her hand upside down in the light just to get the underside. Now I'm going in with my cuticle candy from Candi Skincare. I love this stuff. It smells so good. It works so well. I feel like it really nourishes your skin and your cuticles after the manicure and all the filing and everything. And this particular one is cotton candy, but she's got so many scents. I really highly recommend that you go and you visit her webpage and take a look at her products. She really does a great job, and I feel like everything is super high quality. So this is the finished look for my niece. I think that it came out super cute. It's very summery. I think she did a great job picking these colors and kind of doing this pastel rainbow. I just love it. So I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you found it helpful. I think I tried to show you all of the parts that were critical in terms of, the dips with tips and, the Gellen gel polish. I love it. It comes in so many different colors. There's so many kits that you can grab up. And, thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you in my next vid.